When it comes down to manifesting and actually getting what you want, this is probably one of the most important things that you could ever know how to do when it comes down to formatting, like how you're supposed to write it. So, all the people who manifest things and have manifested things and they have YouTube videos on it have found a formula that works specifically for them. And so they're sharing that, like, hey, this is what you need to do because this is what I did and this worked for me. But it can be incredibly frustrating if you're doing that and you're trying to find all these different ones, but none of them are working for you. And this is one way in your human design chart you can find that out. This is in regards to not being specific or needing to be specific, because there's a lot of people that will tell you you need to be very detailed, you need to be very specific, you need to leave no details out, you need to have a timeline, you need to have this and this and this and this. And that is not correct for a lot of people. I would say, like, half and half. Like, half that is what you're supposed to do. The other half, you're not supposed to do that. For me personally, being extremely specific has never worked. It's better if I just kind of have a idea of what I want, or like an overview, a couple of things, but not listing everything out step by step, detail by detail, deadlines, dates, numbers. No, 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 no. So I'm going to show you now how to find out if you need to be more specific when you write your manifestations or not. So once you pull up your human design chart, you can use any chart. It should have your arrows. This is puregenerators.com. Now you're looking here, right here, those two green, top and bottom, but you're really looking at the bottom, okay? The bottom arrow, and that is pointing to the left. So when any of your arrows are pointing to the left, that is always about being strategic and detailed and analytic about things, very structured. And when it's pointing to the right, then that is when you want to be more generalized, non-specific. So I'll show you what both of them look like. But this one is specific details, needing to do all those things. This chart is non-specific. It has top and bottom there, non-specific. So if your arrow is pointing to the right, this is what mine would look like, pointing to the right. That means, and I'll show you an example of how to write out your manifestations when you're not supposed to be very specific or detail oriented, but it's pointing to the right. So whenever you see any manifestation gurus or teachers tell you, hey, write out all these details, be very specific about what you want, you need to know exactly what you want, skip those. Okay, you skip that video, you don't even listen to it, because it's just not how our energy works. Okay, so if you're writing it out, I will show you some examples of what that looks like. Here's a couple examples of what it looks like in a general sense when you're not putting a time frame on it. And there's also some debates about whether you should write in the present tense or not. I'm also not like super crazy about like needing to be rigid about that. I mean, for me, I have tried both. It still works the same for me. But if you feel better writing in like present tense, saying like, instead of saying I will, say I have, instead of, but if it doesn't really matter to you, which if you're non-specific, it doesn't matter as much anyway, try it, see how it, whatever feels better for you. But this way has always been fine for me. So I will have a successful business, period, point blank. You're not saying I will have a successful business this year, this month, next week. Leave it open-ended. I will make money soon. So this implies sometime in the near future, soon, just soon. You're not saying tomorrow. And it doesn't feel so much pressure. The timing is aligning, or the time has aligned, whichever one feels better for you to use. So yeah, money is coming to me in the best ways. Money comes to me in the best ways, whichever one. Love is here. Love is on the way. Again, very open-ended, very general type of thing. And you can tie more specificities as far as like what types of things you're manifesting based on your human design type, and like what your strategy is, what your signature theme is, to focus on the feelings more so, what you're trying to attract specifically. So yeah, general non-specific manifestor is always about focusing on the feeling more than the actual thing. But the feeling it is that's bringing you, and not focusing so much on the timeline of it. So those are some examples if you're non-specific, how to find that in your chart. And if you need to like stop putting all these details and stop putting all these time frames on your manifestations so they can actually happen faster and in a way that's better than you expected. So let me know if you have questions in the comments about this and what your experience is with trying it both ways.